Beneath the pale glow of Pyongyang's flickering street lamps, a black sedan slips silently through the empty avenues. Inside, a courier clutches a leather case. No documents, no weapons, just a single encrypted flash drive. At 3:42 a.m., it will cross a border where satellites cannot see, beginning a journey that will turn stolen software, counterfeit currency, and virtual loot into clean, untraceable billions. Years earlier, deep within an office in Dandong, China, a phone rang only once before being picked up. The man on the other end spoke no names, only numbers. Those numbers were accounts scattered from Singapore to Seychelles, all feeding a quiet empire built on deception. It was a system Kim Jong-un inherited, but under his rule, it became a labyrinth, one that snaked through casinos, shadow banks, and the darkest corridors of the internet.
We need to ensure
on a humid
every
night in Kuala
detail is
Lumpur,
covered.
gamblers crowded around a baccarat table, unaware the chips they held were already part of Pyongyang's treasury. The casino wasn't there for profit. It was a wash basin, swirling dirty money until it emerged sparkling and anonymous. The croupier smiled mechanically, never looking at the security cameras, because she knew they weren't there to catch thieves. They were there to protect them. Some of the biggest moves happened not in smoky back rooms, but in brightly lit offices of legitimate companies. Freight containers marked machinery parts, rolled off ships in Antwerp and Busan. Inside, instead of steel bolts, there were bundles of high-grade weapons components and stacks of cash wrapped in grease-proof paper. Customs officers stamped them through, blind to the fact they'd just waved a fortune across the world. The digital front was even more audacious. Somewhere in a rented flat in Minsk, a group of young men tapped at keyboards, raiding cryptocurrency exchanges in Seoul and New York. Within minutes, tens of millions of dollars in Bitcoin were broken into thousands of microtransactions, split and merged again until the trail dissolved. To the blockchain, it was just noise. To Pyongyang, it was another payday, but nothing compared to the night of February 4th, 2016. In the quiet hum of the Bangladesh Central Bank's servers, a few lines of malicious code pulsed awake. They spoke to the SWIFT network in the language of legitimate orders, instructing the Federal Reserve in New York to release nearly $1 billion. Some payments were stopped, others weren't. $81 million vanished into Manila's casinos, broken into chips, played, and cashed out before anyone could blink. Hoes who traced the network often found themselves staring at shell companies, names without faces, addresses without buildings. In Hong Kong, an office listed as a shipping firm was a locked door above a noodle shop. In Vladivostok, a fishing company existed only on paper, its fleet nothing but photographs stolen from other firms' brochures. Each fake identity was another ghost in Kim's army. Sometimes, the network felt almost cinematic in its choreography. An arms deal in Africa would pay for a luxury apartment in Dubai, which would be sold to fund an art purchase in Vienna, which would be auctioned and paid for with cryptocurrency mined in rural China. Every step looked legal on its own. Together, it was an invisible river of cash flowing back to a single point, the regime's vaults beneath Pyongyang. The few who defected spoke of couriers boarding flights with passports under false names, of briefcases exchanged in hotel lobbies where the meeting lasted no longer than the time it took for an elevator to reach the ground floor. In those moments, billions moved like whispers, slipping between worlds faster than any investigator could follow. The deeper investigators dug, the stranger the connections became. A fishing boat seized off the coast of West Africa carried not fish, but counterfeit $100 bills so perfect they fooled American banks. A shipping container abandoned in Malaysia contained industrial printers designed to replicate security holograms. Each discovery was only one thread in a web too vast to see in full. And then, just as abruptly as it began, the trail would vanish. Bank accounts emptied overnight, offices gutted, computers wiped down to the circuitry. It was as if the network could hear its own name being spoken and dissolved before the echo faded. For those hunting it, the question was no longer where the money was, but whether they'd ever been close at all. Yet the flow never stopped. On the streets of Pyongyang, the lights in Kim Jong-un's palaces still burned deep into the night. Somewhere, another encrypted flash drive was crossing another border, carrying another fortune scraped from the shadows. And beyond every checkpoint, in every city that never sleeps, another player was already shuffling the deck for the regime's next hand. If you're still watching, it means you care enough to know the truth, and that makes you dangerous to them. Don't scroll away. Hit subscribe now, because the next investigation is already in motion, and you'll want to be here when we expose it. Share this video before it disappears from your recommendations. Yes, that happens. And drop a comment to show you're part of the few who refuse to look away. Every view forces the shadows to shrink. Don't just watch history happen, help write it.